All right there. So I'm going to try to record this for you because I think maybe you can listen to it when you have time, since our meeting time, varies based on your having the trip and the activities. So I'm beginning with your task 1 for lab 9, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you, and this video, by the way, which I watched, was very helpful in seeing what he's asking for. So I'm going to use this data and I'm going to show you how to do this on Excel. We'll do it together. As you watch the video, you can actually, when you have a chance, use Excel to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy the data over. Okay, so the first thing we would want to do in this case is we're going to find 3 measures that we're going to need to be able to do this using his methods. So the first thing we'll do is we'll find the average, we'll find the standard deviation, and we'll find the margin of error, which is actually quite easy. So for this, for the average, we're going to hit equals A, and we're going to drop down. You can actually do AV, it brings it closer to average. Double click, highlight your data, and let it go. That's the average for this data set. Standard deviation equals STD, and we want EVA. So we double click on that, highlight your numbers, hit enter, there's your average. And now for margin of errors, you're going to hit equals confidence, and then we want the .t based on the question. So he's, in this case, we're going to assume an alpha of 0.05. So let's go with 0.05. For the standard deviation, we already computed that, so we'll click on that. For the size, we're going from 4 to 15. So if you take away basically 3, you have your answer. Or you can count them out: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 data points. I think that helps you better. So you'll put a 12 there and hit enter. So that's your margin of error. So for the confidence interval, you basically are going to have the low confidence. So think of it as the low end and the high end. In the low end, you basically are going to say equals the average minus that margin of error. For the high, it's equal to the average plus that margin of error. Okay, so that's how the instructions are, where he explains it that way. And now our question in this particular example, so it says the average annual maintenance cost for the older model was $11.70. So then it says, given the data for recent machines, decided the lawsuit holds water. Okay. And so the procedure we're running here, because we have one data set, is we're going to do confidence interval with 95% confidence, which means our alpha is 0.05. Confidence intervals are always two-tailed, so technically 0.025 on both ends. Our margin of error, when we computed it, was 697, and correct. The statistical interpretation, so if you notice, there's your confidence interval here from 935 to 2329. And so it's saying here, in our case, the average is equal to 1632. So what they're basically saying is if I take these two values, so that plus that, and I take this number and I divide it by 2, we match. You notice that these are both the same answer. So based on the conclusion and the nature of the question, since the average for older models is included into this interval, we cannot conclude that the new model has a larger maintenance cost. Okay? So, in other words, so yes, it basically meaning that the value falls inside. So if we look at the 1170, the 1170 falls within here, and our average falls within here as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop that video there. That's the first of the review questions. So you're going to have, a video for each, just to keep it so that you can stop and pause as needed, okay?